would not be possible without them. 1,000%. I would not be able to do any of the stuff that I just scaling, but even maintaining that, the amount that I sell a month, I need them.
Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, welcome back to another episode of Your Selling Podcast. I'm really excited because today we have the seller you know and love, Becky Stillman, but she has her whole crew of her Amazon helpers. So we're going to talk about everything from how she decided to hire them, what she decided to pay them, how she figured that out, and all that. And then we're going to ask them how they like it. So let's jump in and welcome Becky to the podcast. So why don't you introduce your crew?
This is Kana. It's my oldest daughter. That's Shelby, second oldest daughter, and that's Athena, my youngest. She's my OG, my first employee right there, courtesy of 2020 homeschooling, distance learning. She was number one in the team.
So you started in August of 2020, and did you bring on Athena pretty quickly after that, or what was that process like?
Oh yeah, the whole peeling stickers and removing labels, that got old real quick with me, and she was really curious. She was 14 years old at the time, and she was curious about it. So I gave her a Scotty peeler and a blow dryer, and the rest was history. So she actually came out sourcing with me as well. After, was it right away?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Just helping you grab stuff. I didn't have a scanner yet, but I would grab stuff that I thought was good for her to scan.
Yeah. So using those young eyes, to spot things that maybe I would overlook, and she'd bring it to me and I'd scan it before I knew that you could install the seller app on multiple phones. And yeah, and then eventually I trained her on Seller Central, and off she goes and comes back with a cart full of treasures usually.
That's one thing I don't think a lot of people know. I've gotten that question a lot, is that you can have multiple people on your seller account with just your same login and everything. So she has a phone obviously, so you just give her your login and
yeah, they all have it. So they see everything. It gives them the same access that it would give you. And they can scan simultaneously. They can all be on it at the same time.
How did you figure out, because that's one thing, I've heard a lot of people do it different ways. I've heard of people paying people by item, or like some people hire people to go out and get the stuff, like they'll place the order and then they go pick it up. How did you figure out different roles for them as you were, going along?
Well, initially, it was mainly just prep with Athena, and then we just kept feeding the beast, and it got to the point where she was quickly overwhelmed with the amount. And so then I brought Kana on, and her sister Mila, her half sister Mila, she came on as well. Basically just out of straight necessity, because to put the shipments out every week, it was getting pretty overwhelming for Athena. And basically, I can't remember were you back in school?
That was the first year, a full year back in school.
Yeah. So she worked it pretty much on her own for about a year. And then we brought Kana and Milan in October of 21. Yeah. Because Athena was able to work at it during the week, but then when she went back to school and had homework and whatnot, so it was really out of necessity more than anything, because we were growing really quickly and rapidly running out of time on the weekends to have everything prepped.
Because that's one way you do it. So like you're like Actually, I've kind of become like you in that model where I used to try to pack it up. I would source and then try and pack it up that same week to get it out by Friday. But I know you also, you source during the week and then your kids come over and help you pack it up on the weekend and then it
Yeah.
goes out Monday, which is the model I've kind of taken over. Is that how you
Yeah.
kind of always did it, or did it just kind of go that way because of your schedules and everything?
Well, Athena's been in school, so we really don't get her until Friday afternoon until Sunday night. And then I work some Saturdays, so that just kind of was how it worked out, I guess.
Yeah. The Sundays, some weeks I had a hard time scanning. If I didn't have a lot of product, enough stuff for a shipment, then Athena would come out with me on Saturday and we'd go double team, tag team a store and get more, because you have to justify being able to pay everybody. So you need to have a certain amount. Like I just know I can look at a shipment and know without even doing the calculations, I can know if it's going to be a good shipment or not. So if I had a rough week and there's a lot of resellers in my area, there's a lot of competition. So if I didn't get enough product, her and I would go out on Saturdays. So that's when it became a necessity to do Sundays. And we work all day Sunday. Some days it's pretty late. If things go sideways, entering stuff into the system, which it does more often than not.
Yeah.
Amazon Inventory Lab, sometimes they don't like to get along. And so we try and stick to Sundays. Sometimes we do Saturdays, but if I have a good week, we try and do Saturdays if Kana's not working.
Sometimes it's like the opposite problem. She'll find too much, and then it's like me and Shelby will have to do like a small shipment while Athena's at school, and then do another one on the weekend because we just won't have room to have all those boxes.
Yeah.
But
that happened recently with Kana and Shelby. They packed up a shipment during the week, and we still had another couple pallets to send out on the weekend. So, but even if we have to do a shipment during the week, Athena is my FBM girl. So she still earns money throughout the week packing FBM orders. So I just want to make sure everybody's got their income right. But sometimes I need the stuff out of the house.
I was going to say that's more too to take the load off of Athena. If she's got a bunch of FBM orders, or if she just is like busy with school that week, then she can always text me and, I'll pick up slack.
Yeah. It's like a big, you got to have teamwork because everybody's got to try and have a life in amongst all of this as well. So a lot of communication and just making sure, because the FBM orders don't stop. Some days there's 50 to 60 a day. And when she gets off the bus at 4:30 and eats something and then wants to get to bed by 9:30 because her bus comes at like 6:30 in the morning. So she wakes up pretty early. So sometimes, Kana will come in and definitely pick up her slack or help her out anyways. But
what point did Shelby come into it?
Shelby came in
last year.
Yeah.
Towards the end of last year, and it was mainly because I was finishing up school, and I was actually leaving my job, and it was kind of like me just coming in to help because it was around Christmas time, and there was a lot of packages and stuff that had to go out. So I was coming in for help, and then I just kind of stuck with it, and now it's become like an income.
It was again necessity Q4, right? So I try and pile out as much as we can because this is when we can make the most money in the business, and we can really kind of take it easy the rest of the year. So.
How did you decide what, and you don't need to get into specifics or anything, but how did you decide what you were going to pay them? Do you pay them kind of equally, or is one job, like Athena does FBM and it sounds like the other girls kind of help out, but with that part?
It's really situational. Like they have a minimum amount that they get paid. But it's like, it depends. If it's a quick shipment where it's not very labor intensive, like peeling stickers or having to polybag a lot or prep a lot, they get paid a certain amount. And then if it's something that's a really gnarly one where there's a lot, or they have to do a lot of prep, then I pay them more. Athena gets a standard rate for FBM orders during the week. Sometimes when things get spicy, I pay her more. If she's putting in long hours every night, I'm not going to give her that base rate. But the cool thing with that base rate is that if she only has 7 or 8 FBM orders, she's still getting paid as much as she would if she had 25, 30 orders. So she gets paid. And if she scans, like if she comes out scanning with me, she gets paid more. So like I pay basically by the day. And initially, something I used to do with her was if we were having a difficult time finding things when we'd be outsourcing, I'd pay bounties for things. So, hey, if you find something that we haven't sold before, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, it was basically if I found something new that we had never seen before and that made decent profit, something that we could find again, she would normally give $10 for each new thing that I found. And sometimes, I'd find like 10, 20 things. So that's $100, $200 more for my paycheck, which is a huge bonus for a lot more products.
I know that you are a very serious and smart student. So how is it when I've heard stories where there's a lot of orders one night and you're just not feeling it? Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I'm always listening to music when I pack my orders. So basically, I just say, okay, put my music in, and I get over it, and I do it anyway.
And we stay away from her.
I can do it.
Yeah. We stay at a striking distance. That's pretty much how that gets handled.
Rewinding a little bit, what was it like watching your mom do all this stuff before you really totally understood what she was doing? Like when your house just blew up with Amazon products.
Well, I basically been with her since, she even started watching your videos and stuff and learning how. And so at first I was just kind of trying to understand and learn with her a bit. And, I was very open with, well, I'm not at school. I'd like to help you and make money. So it was kind of crazy at first because learning how was a bit frustrating, making small mistakes, not understanding some stuff. But then after a while, I really got the hang of it and I was able to take on more and do more to help out. And it was a really cool experience. It was a cool thing to do, especially during COVID, because I had nothing else to do being in the house all the time. So it really gave me some more purpose. It was really cool.
What about you, Shelby and Kana?
Well, I started watching your videos too pretty early on when Becky sent them to me because she was like, you should do this. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of busy with hair because I do hair too. So I was like, but I'll help you.
Yeah.
And so I did watch your videos a lot and kind of learn what was going on. But also I hadn't come in at that point when she had just started. So I think we were doing Christmas decorations and stuff. And there was just vacuum cleaners everywhere, diapers. And I was just I don't know what's going on. But we'll just go with it. And so I just try to be supportive.
For me, it took me a long time to get into it and help mom with this. And I would come in and see the chaos and see all them working, and I was like, nope, I don't want to be part of it.
She said no.
I was like, no, it took me a long time, and it took me quitting my job and kind of needing a little extra income to start. And once I got started, it's pretty simple. Some of it's tedious, but it's not bad.
She hates it.
Shelby's always I will not do this for a living. And now she's like, I don't know, I kind of like it.
It's not bad. It's not hard. It's easy. It's nice to be at home and not have to work a job.
Not have to get out of pajamas.
Wear your pajamas.
Roll out of bed.
The house stuff was rough because so our main floor is open concept. And we've got a large dining room table. It's probably, I don't know how big it is. It's 15 feet.
It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. It's a big, big, big table. It's beautiful and glass, but I haven't seen it in 3 years. It's buried.
Yeah.
We ship everything downstairs, all of our prep stuff when we have a family holiday. That's really the most difficult part because we do have a warehouse area downstairs. But our main, the items that I source during the week, they just get deposited in that main room. So our living space is right there. You walk in the door and you're greeted
Just
with it.
hit with it.
Yeah. So that part's difficult because we're all pretty clean and pretty organized. And the main floor definitely just is somewhat organized chaos, but it pretty much looks like a bomb went off. A Walmart truck exploded.
Yeah.
So that's tough for all of us to deal with because it's constant. So as soon as we get a shipment out, it's like, okay, 2 days later, it's like, boom, it happens again. So
So you guys kind of doing the prepping part of it, right? Besides Athena when she helps scan and doing FBM. So what are your like, is it fun still, or are there days where you're just like over it, or how are you manage like a lot of multifaceted question, like because you're working with family and we all know how you can get when working with family. So like how are you handling all of that?
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It gets tough.
It does get really tough. Yeah. Like me and Athena have had to have a break from each other. For sure. We saw each other too much this summer.
Yeah.
So we've taken a break and it's been better.
Yeah. That's the toughest part really because you don't leave work. You don't leave your coworkers. Like you love your family, but then, when you're working, it's very difficult to separate business from personal. And, as a boss, whatever, it's difficult for me because I've been in management my whole life. And this is the most impossible group for me to manage because I can't manage them the way that I manage on the railway. And they will take things differently than like it's hard to marry up my management style with them being employees and how they take things. And I really have to watch because I've always been kind of a bit of a bulldozer on, working on the railway and whatnot. And so it's difficult for them because sometimes I'm just like, I just kind of spit things out. And then there are definite challenges that way because they're family, they're my kids, I love them, but it's like we're never out of work mode because even when we're chilling and hanging out, it's like, oh yeah, we can't forget about this. And so we still have those conversations about work and it's almost like you never leave work. So Kane and Athena, they had their moment a couple months ago. It was just, but we're around each other every single weekend and it's not super fun. Anybody that says prepping a shipment is fun is so not telling you the truth. It's just not. It's picking stickers. It's tedious.
Yeah.
See, I actually enjoy destickering stuff.
She does.
I find it very therapeutic, but bagging and bubble wrapping, I can't stand. And
See, I would rather bubble wrap. Yeah, so we do that a lot.
We can make a little system.
Yeah. Especially if we've got like 100 of something, then she'll go through and de-sticker them or take the marker off or whatever we need to do. And then I'll go through and bubble wrap them. Then Shelby will poly bag them and we'll just have like an assembly line going because that's the only way we're going to get through 100 of those like as quick as we can.
Were you guys involved in the 2 U-Hauls of product?
Yeah, so that was split up into 2 shipments.
Yeah. That was fun.
I didn't mind my part in that. I just
had
Legos.
They didn't get much notice either. Like it was, I called the house and said, Athena, are you home? Yep. Okay, I'm bringing a U-Haul and it's full and I need to empty it as quick as we can so I can take it back so I can get a cheaper discount. Like I can get more of a discount on the U-Haul. And she's like, okay. And I said, call Matt or get my son. So those 2, and it was really hot that day too.
Yes. I was dying in that U-Haul.
Yeah. Because I loaded it with a random stranger in the parking lot. He came, I thought he worked at the store and he just came and helped me. And I asked them, I was like, did that guy work with y'all? And they're like, no, he was just a customer. He helped me load that entire U-Haul. And the place that I got it, they were super helpful. There was like 4 of them that were helping. And so I'd filled my car, filled the U-Haul, brought that home, and they unpacked it, organized it, and then the girls, Kane and Shell, put out a shipment. And then I went and got more. And so then I think then Shelby and Athena put out a shipment. And yeah,
I think you even had Dad working that one.
I did.
Yeah, I was about to say, he asked if he could work that one.
Yeah, my husband helped. He's not been allowed to help with any part of this at all because he's also in management and he likes to kind of come in and try and manage, and he doesn't know any of it. So it's like, no, you just need to just kind of be labor. You just need to pick stickers. And so, yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
He was able to help that time.
Yeah, he helped that time. But we got them out quickly, which was really awesome. And I was able to park in my garage again. So that was super cool because we filled the garage up. So yeah.
Did you have a son, Matt? So was he ever a part of it, or was he not interested, or he already has a job?
He is not a detail-oriented human being.
He takes the boxes.
He
takes the boxes
to the truck. Yes.
And trash.
Yeah, that's pretty
he
much what it
helps
is.
with loading the UPS trucks.
Yes.
Yeah. So UPS comes and picks up from us, and he'll do like, the heavy lifting. Initially, when we first started, we used to take all the shipments into the UPS store. So he would help then. But it's just mainly more just like the heavy lifting. Because 50-pound boxes that are 22 by 22 by 22, they're too difficult for this mama. I buy all this stuff, so I let everyone else move it all.
So I'm kind of like Athena, that I actually like prepping for some part of it. And I think it's kind of because I got so much other stuff, and it's like I can listen to music or podcasts and just zone in and do the prepping part of it.
Yeah.
But what are some of the okay, wait. How much did having them help you scale? Because I'm just thinking that I don't know how there's any way that I could have scaled, without help, right? And so how much of a help has that been?
It would not be possible without them. 1,000%. I would not be able to do any of the stuff that I just scaling, but even maintaining that, the amount that I sell a month, I need them 1,000%, because even though I'm not prepping, I'm still at the computer working on the back end of the business and trying to deal with customers or deal with Amazon or whatever. So yeah, there's no way that I would be able to scale without them. And people that do scale without employees, absolutely give them all the kudos in the world, because there's not enough time in the day. I would not be able to put out the quantity that we put out. Even just Athena and I, if I was still prepping, there's no way. So we scaled really quickly. I started in August 2020, and I feel like I was selling around 40,000 by January. And that was just Athena and I. Back then there was vacuum cleaners and diapers, shoes, lots of shoes, tons and tons and tons of shoes. But when it comes down to, like, I've been told I'm not allowed to shop Burlington because they're stickers. So there's certain stores that I'm not allowed to shop. And, it's kind of funny because when Kana comes into work and she'll look if she sees all these stickers, she'll be like, oh, like, because they like when I go places that there are no stickers to remove. So yeah, there's no way, flat out, that I could have scaled and maintained this level of sales without them.
Q4 is here. It is the best time of the year as an Amazon seller, but if you don't know what's going on with your profits, your money, your business, do you really know if that business and product is making any money? This is why I love Sellerboard and why I've partnered with them on the Your Selling podcast. Sellerboard truly is the best way for an Amazon seller to see their true business, how much profit you're making on a product, and better yet, why I love it, it forecasts out your total sales for the month, And you can see by quarter, by month, or by the entire year how much money your items are making you. We all know different things come up in Amazon business, from returns to various Amazon fees. All of it is broken down in Seller Board because, like I've said, if you don't know your business numbers, you don't know what's going on. And as new small business owners, that's the area that gets fallen behind because we truly don't totally understand it. So why not use this software to fully understand what's going on? Seller Board is offering my listeners 2 months free, no credit card required. All you got to do is head to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit and sign up. Again, you just log into your Amazon account in Seller Board and everything is pulled over, including all your past items you've ever had. Enter in your cost of goods, and finally, you will see the true profit picture of what's going on in your business. Again, try it 2 months free at yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit and really understand your business this Q4. What advice would you give to somebody who either is looking to hire either a kid or like a local, I don't know, someone from the community or church or whatever? Like, what would be your advice to starting with that?
Really, like, you won't regret it. That's for sure. If you find that certain aspects of the job are tedious or that you're not able to, I'm a huge proponent of putting a shipment out every single week. I hold myself accountable. I know that it puts pressure on me. It's very easy when you're your own boss that if you're kind of having a crappy day and you would rather not be working, you could just be like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. I'll go source tomorrow. And when you've got employees, that you're paying, it puts more pressure on you and motivates you more as well, because it's like, okay, like they're depending on this paycheck this weekend, and the only way I can pay them is if I have X amount of product. And how I initially justified paying them was I knew how much I was paying them. And so I would source that much product and I'd be like, okay, so this much product, there's the profit of, let's just say $100. I'm like, okay, $100 profit. That's the pay for this one. And and so that was how I was able to keep a running tally in the beginning of whether I would be profitable, because so many people will hire people without really knowing their numbers. And then they wonder why they have no money in the bank account at the end of the month or the end of the year or whatever. So every program I have, I'm like, okay, this pays for inventory lab for the month, and this pays for. So that's how my brain has to work. I've got kind of a weird engineering brain. So really, they motivated me to buy more, and they motivated me to make sure I put those shipments out every week. And then we were able just to scale so quickly and maintain such a high level of performance. It's been phenomenal. We've almost outgrown ourselves. I really could hire 2 more people. I'd love to get out of the house and have, a warehouse setting where we're not tripping over each other, rolling around one cart with all of the poly bags. And there's parts of it that are very time consuming because we can't be as organized as we would be if we had our own prep stations. So maybe a good piece of advice for someone that is looking to hire is just make sure, you've got the space and you're able to give them their own place to work, because it gets really stressful trying to, and I feel silly talking about this to you when you do this out of an RV. For me though, when you're adding more people to it, it's stressful to them when they're having to climb all over each other just to get that poly bag over there, or to get the blow dryer. So we've got multiple blow dryers. We've got multiple Scotty peelers. We've got multiple bubble wrap rolls. So everybody's got their stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I would say that if someone that wasn't family was working with us, we probably would have to have more like polybag stations set up and our like everything we only have in one area because we don't mind just walking around each other and grabbing it. But if we had someone else here, they might not like having to walk around each other and over and under and the dogs and cat and and try just to get a poly bag. They might want their own little workspace. But
it's not super professional. We trip around each other and we're in our pajamas and usually munching on treats, and we try and make it fun when we're doing it, because it is tedious. So we've usually got munchies on the go as well. So
yeah, there's a couple times when the cat's like trying to go from one side to the other, can't even get by, and they're like trying to figure out like which way to go around. So I totally understand, like it's like you can step there.
I'd like to say for kids as well, I know this worked for me when I first started, and like just only prepping on my own the shipments, was having a goal for what like I should do or what I should have completed by a certain time. That really motivated me a lot more to get stuff done. I know like if maybe I was slacking for a little bit, or I had more online work one week or one day and I fell a bit behind, but what I should have done, I made sure to like set a time and be like, by 9:00 tonight, I need to have this much done. And then, I could get it done by then. And if I didn't, I'd work a bit over that to make sure it's completed. And that helped me out a lot getting stuff done. Like, I think for like kids, that's like get a goal, maybe have like a type of award or like a bonus for that, because that happened a lot for me and it helped.
Yeah,
that's true too. I was gonna say I didn't even think of that. But sometimes, like most of the time, we do prepping and everything in one day, and then UPS will pick it up the next day. But sometimes, if it's like crazy, like a huge shipment, then we'll have to come back the next day and pack it up. But we try to make sure that the majority of everything is prepped if we're going to have to leave it overnight and come back to it.
Yeah, we find a good ending point.
Endings. Yeah, but we try to get as much done in one day as we can.
Yeah.
So what happens? I know this is a thing with you, Athena, when she tells you that's it for the shipment, and then she comes with more stuff. You're just yelling at her and like, you just sit down and do it.
Yes, I just sit down and do it.
She's not happy. She's not happy.
Normally, though, it entitles me making more money, so I think it's very nice.
She's very.
After I'm done, I think it's very nice.
Yeah, she's very finance driven.
She does it too, though.
Yeah.
When listing, she's like, these were over there. Can we add this?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's all of us.
The stuff we have in the house too, that I'm like, we can do something with that. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I get in trouble sometimes. And like, for the audience, there's many times I've sent Nikki a selfie with my car completely full and said they're gonna kill me. And on a Saturday, because I've slipped out to go get boxes and I've happened to scan something and went, oh, this is a good deal. Let's go ahead and fill the car up with these. And it is what it is, right? We just work through it. We do what we can do. Everybody knows that unfortunately sometimes Amazon derps out and you get errors or whatever, and sometimes random technical issues occur that get really frustrating, where we've all had to, tap out for the night, because when you're that tired and you've been working at it all day, it's as much as you don't want to work it the next day, as much as you want to wash your hands of the shipment and be finished it, sometimes it's best just to be like, all right, guys. And we make the decisions as a team. That's the most important thing. We don't, not like, no one person is like, I don't want, like, we do it all as a team. It's like, all right, you guys, we can either power through this and get it done tonight, or we can just stop right now and pick it up tomorrow. And so that way it's a lot, I don't know, it's a little bit better, I guess. So
it, excuse me. It sounds like everyone is kind of, you've got the base and then it's goes up based on like how much product you have that week. Is that right?
Oh, like if it's a huge shipment, if it's a tedious shipment, really like if it's a 2-day shipment, it goes up. Like if if something happens with Amazon, like, or I use Inventory Lab. So if there's issues that occur that are beyond their control and they're there waiting for a shipment to get pushed through or whatever, and then we end up having to tap out for the night and come back the next day, obviously, they get paid for that. They get paid for how tedious shipments are, because sometimes, like, I'll ship glass, I'll ship heavy things, big things, liquid things, crazy things. Like, I'll ship anything. And so if it's more labor intensive, they get paid extra for that. Like, so it's not like there's any given amount that they get paid. They just know bare minimum, like, this is pretty standard what you'll get. And, if things go completely off kilter, then I compensate them for that.
It's kind of like, so I know for me, if I get something heavy or tedious, takes bubble wrap, I'm like, ugh, it's just more work for me. But for them, they're like, sweet, that's more money. So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. They, it works out. It seems to work out really well. Being in the pajamas, being able to work, you're not having to get out, you don't have to wash your hair, you don't have to throw makeup on, you just get up and go. And, as a rule, like, we've got music going or like good conversation. Athena definitely does like to put her music on and focus. And it's that way, like, we all, obviously we know each other, so we know how we each work. And sometimes some of us need space and peace and quiet. And, we're all pretty loud and chatty for the most part, except that one in the back. But
so how are you actually paying them? Is it through PayPal, Venmo, whatever else there is?
I pay them through Venmo because they issue the 1099. Definitely look into your taxes for your state. Talk to your accountant. There are benefits for children under the age of 18. So, they can peel stickers. They can do all sorts of stuff. So definitely look into that stuff.
And what is so we'll go around, everyone can answer. What is your favorite thing about working on the Amazon business, and what is your least favorite thing?
Starting.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, I don't know, I like bubble wrapping. I know that's really weird, but I like bubble wrapping. My least favorite thing is probably messed up boxes, any kind of cardboard boxes that's jacked up in any kind of way, stickers, markers, anything. Like, I have to give them to Athena. I just don't have the patience to, like, I feel like I'm just going to mess it up more. Like, those are for her. What about you?
I don't know. For me, really, it is just first and foremost the money, for sure. I just think it's great that I can just be at home and just roll out of bed on the weekends and work and then be done for the day. Just like pretty much 1-2 days a week, then a little bit, like maybe an hour or two every single day. It's very convenient and easy to make money with. And then I also think that the de-stickering, like how Kano was saying earlier, I think it's great. I think it's
You
really
think it's great?
I think it's great. I do.
Okay.
That's my honest opinion.
What do you not
What
like?
do you not like?
What I not like? Definitely packing the boxes.
Oh.
That sucks.
True.
Yeah. What about you, Shelb?
I really like, I guess this is going to sound so weird, but when we're polybagging, I hate and love that, because if something doesn't fit perfectly or I have to wrap it, and before I put it in a polybag, I don't want to do that. But if it's something that like perfectly fits in the polybag, it's just satisfying.
What do you hate? So that's your hate? When it doesn't
When it
fit?
doesn't fit.
Wrap it like
With tape or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And I love having my family around me. They're all getting older and moving out and having their, adult lives. And to me, I like having my family around. I like the consistency to know that they're coming over on Sunday. I enjoy that aspect of it. And what I don't enjoy is when they drive me nuts or when I get mad at them and I have to work with them all day. So if they've gotten me angry on a personal level and then I have to work with them all day, and it's like, it's difficult that way because, and the other side of the coin of that is when I am hanging out with them away from the business and we're having quality time, we're chilling, we're hanging out, and my ADD brain kicks in and I'm like, oh yeah, we can't forget to do this, blah, blah, blah. And like, I have a difficult time forming that separation between business and personal. And I know that they probably don't want to hear about the business 24/7 because they're there to earn a paycheck. They don't really care for the most part. Well, I don't know. Athena really cares. And I'm not saying you two don't, but Athena is like all about this, like, hey, do you see our sales today? Or, because when they do have the seller app on their phone, they're able to see, what our sales are and whatnot. So, yeah, that's really, I find what the most difficult part is, or if they're not getting along, that's a tough one too. But it's rare. But when they don't get along, it's nuclear. But it's yeah. But it's pretty rare for the most part. But yeah, when it pops off, it's kind of like, okay, like.
Oh, I forgot about something that I hate doing.
What?
Cleaning the inventory, our FBM inventory. That is horrible.
I like organizing it.
Yeah, like when it's organizing the inventory downstairs.
I like to sit there and write stuff down for Shelby.
Yeah, and like so that's the other aspect of the business is the inventory. So our because we do FBM, we've got 5 big Costco shelves that are completely stacked with inventory, as well as like a table and miscellaneous boxes full of things. So Shelby's very organized, like super OCD organized. And some days that's the other thing where I'm like, okay, we're not doing a shipment this week. We're going to work on that inventory because our system isn't the greatest. It works for us, but unfortunately, sometimes there's miscommunication. Like, hey, put this stuff here, so I can list it FBM. And then when you deal with the quantity of items that we deal with, sometimes that stuff falls through the cracks. And all of a sudden I go for a wander and I'm like, whoa, what's that? And then you look and, oh, it's not listed. So there's, unfortunately, and this is, one of the other sides of working in your home,
having multiple people
Yeah.
working too.
Yeah. So it's like, we don't have an ironclad system set up, but like we'll spend a day buttoning things up. And it's that for me, I like that because it's like, oh, like after it's so organized, it's so neat. And it's just satisfying that way to have it not be as chaotic, because in the rush of things, it's very easy for things to just kind of pile up. And, the room that our warehouse area is in is like 35 by 45, something like that. It's pretty big. And yeah, that the inventory can definitely overflow from our shelving area. And that's a good tip for anybody that is looking at like building their own warehousing space or storage space. Definitely do double what you think you're going to do, because if you looked at my space, you would think like, holy smokes, like you're never going to fill that. I could use 3, 4, 5 more shelves easily, if not more. So definitely overestimate.
Plushes and toys take up so much room.
Yeah, Squishmallows.
I was about to say, like beauty care and stuff doesn't even take up much room at all. And then toys and plushies, they take up all the room.
Yeah.
All the space.
Yeah. So that part, it's very, it's tedious to go through, but it's so satisfying when it's done, when everything's all like neat, tidy, and everything's all organized. And, I don't pay attention to any of that stuff for the most part, other than walking through it, because Athena's the one running down there to grab the stuff for FBM. When we get an order in, if I have to pack it, and like Kana does it too, so they know where it all is. I don't ever. So
what's your system for down there? Because that's a question that comes up often, everyone's system for FBM. So how do you guys, what's your system for those FBM shelves?
Doesn't we do perishables?
Yeah, we have one side that's for perishable, like food, random beauty stuff that expires, anything that expires. And then on the other side is mostly just the toys and random stuff. And then it's pretty much separated by what it is, like beauty, food, all
medicine,
that. Yeah,
stuff
medicine.
And, Shelby goes down, and when things are getting close to expiration, I've been making my SKUs with the expiration date on them for FBM. So I can search my inventory on Seller Central. I can put I just put the month and the year in it. So I can put in 1023, like EXP 1023, and I can pull up everything that's listed FBM that has 1023 as the expiration date, so I can price it to move or pull it. That way, that's helped a lot. And then she goes down pretty regularly and says, okay, this stuff needs to move or whatever. And then
like the next couple months, if they're about to expire in the next couple months, I usually just put a sticky note on it, put the date or the date that it expires, and then so when it gets close to that, I could just pull it off the shelf and she can price it to whatever to sell, or if we can return it or anything, it's right there.
or send it.
Yeah.
Nice. I need to start doing that because I just priced down some product that I guess hadn't moved, and it's at FBA though, and I was like, it's been a while since I got that from that store, and I'm just hoping that it wasn't expired when it gets to the customers because it's sold.
Yeah.
Finding so much stuff that we didn't even know we had, and I was like, look, we have got to get an organization hold on this stuff because this is too much random stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then
a lot of product.
When things went sideways with there's sometimes listings get pulled, sometimes things are listed and then they're listed, and then all of a sudden you look and they're gone. And when you're handling the amount of items that we handle, there's a lot of things like that slip through the cracks. And then we can look at stuff and go, we haven't moved any of that stuff in a while. And we've had it happen where we know they're listed and all of a sudden they're not there, and so the frustrating thing, we had a garage sale recently, at the beginning of the summer, because I was like, we need to get rid of this stuff. I need it out of my site, because all I see is, I know how much I paid for everything, so all you see is your money sitting there, and it's like, that part. Yeah, it's difficult to get a proper system, but our boxes downstairs, we've got a lot of boxes. We've got a second room, our media room or media area. It's a big long room. That's where all of our boxes are. I just took advantage of the Uline free shipping and got a pallet of supplies in, and we've got the free shipping supplies from UPS, so we've got that stuff somewhat organized. It might not be all that organized right now because I went a little buck wild with the Uline sale.
There's a lot of stuff down there right now. Can't really walk in there, but
no,
but we've got boxes.
Yeah.
Athena to do parkour over it to get to stuff. Sometimes it's really fun though. Okay.
But yeah, we've got a pretty decent, our main boxes that we use for FBM. We've got supplies of them accessible in our main room. So but all of the overflow goes in there. And
so what is the plans for the future? Are you kind of doing it right now for the girls? Are you doing it right now? Athena's going to go to college. Is she going to still be a part of the business? Is it, I guess, what is the future? Or what are your, not that you have to be solid in your plans, but what are you thinking?
I'm just going with the flow. I'm here for whatever, they need. Obviously, I do hair, but I do that kind of part-time as well. So I kind of leave my schedule open. I did just have a baby recently. So, as long as I'm over here, she can come over here. So I like that part of, having that freedom. So I'll probably do this for as long as she needs me.
I guess that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm just here to help. Whatever she needs, I'm here. Because I don't do too much. I'm not working. I'm not in school anymore. So I'm just here to help.
I'm not really sure where I'd like to go to school yet, though I really would like to stay closer to home because I feel like it's just so much more convenient to have a job here, be able to stay at home. And I think the farthest I would go is somewhere like in the next state over because I'd like to be close still. So I would like to keep doing this for like the next while.
She wants to do this forever, and she's extremely intelligent, so I'm not going to let her do this forever.
Yes, well, it's either doing this with her forever, or I'd like to go to school for business too. So maybe even making my own out of what I know from this and what I've learned. So I think it's really great that I even have the opportunity to do this because, you know, I've decided to do it for my future. I think it's cool.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 11th grade.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
She's
so you
on
don't
a
have to
roll.
decide anything right now anyways.
No.
It's getting there.
She's getting the pressure from me. She's like, I'm like, all right, you need to figure your stuff out, girl. It's time to figure out your pathway and what you're going to do. Yeah, exactly. Because she loves numbers. She has a shirt that says, I love math. Like, and she asked for it. She begged for it. So, or is it, I love math? Is that what it says?
It's some math joke. It's really cheesy. I saw it at Kohl's and I love it. It's like, where's X? It's right there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. She's a math nerd. So yeah, absolutely. If she could get involved in that, that would be amazing.
Well, that's awesome because you guys already have more like business and entrepreneurial skills than I ever did. Obviously, Kana, you're a hairdresser. You have had that for a while because you have to be an entrepreneur in aspect of being a hairdresser. So that's really awesome. What are any other last minute feedback or advice or any comments that we didn't get to cover?
You've got don't get all awkward now.
What's it like when you don't like your manager?
They just put their headphones in and don't talk to me. I'm usually
deal with it.
I would say she's usually not up here if
Yeah.
she doesn't have to be. She usually has my baby.
Yeah, I usually have the baby or I'm playing video games because that's what real adults do.
Supported my manager.
No.
I guess that I don't know. You're nice.
I'm not. Oh, I got a good one. Okay. A good question for you, Athena, is how do you deal with the fact that I have ADD really bad?
You know, I have some trouble controlling my anger and my facial expressions. So sometimes I just have to take a really deep breath a couple times. I might need to step off to go take a bathroom break, and then I come back and I'm like, Mom, stop. Do that. And I just like kind of give like subtle reminders, and like I'll grab stuff like, you know, normally it's like when we're with items,
yes.
and I'll just grab stuff and I'll hand it to her, or I'll just like kind of just get in front of her and get on the computer myself and just start doing it because I'm like, we gotta get going.
She can list. She can list on
good at it.
Inventory Lab. She did it just recently. And it's a challenge for them because if you sit me in front of a computer for, you know, because with other, you know, my other business, I spend a lot of time at the computer. So after about 6 hours at the computer, I'm pretty tapped out. So I start to get real wandery. And
I think we usually just ask you, hey, are we gonna do this?
yeah.
Are we done? Are we done?
Yeah. Is this
So
is
they
this
have
all
to
that
redirect you.
Yes, we do redirect her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have like straight up clinical ADD that I don't take medication for anymore. So unfortunately, I wander. I get real sick of loading stuff up into Inventory Lab because that's what we do. We take an entire day to list most times. I don't log it into Inventory Lab as I go. I list, print stickers, and then the next day, or sometimes we do it as we're packing. Two of us will list, and then two will start prepping. But yeah, it's difficult because after, you know, like 4 hours, 5 hours on the computer, I get wandery. So sometimes they, you know, because that's another really, you know, difficult part of working in a house because you look over and it's like, oh, I got to throw that laundry in, or, oh, I have to, you know, cook some food, or I have to, like, the best part is my grandbaby. I see her do something cute. I'm stressed out with Amazon, UPS, and up I go and off I am. And then they're like, yo, they got to put a leash on me and bring me back. So yeah, that's a difficult thing to deal with the manager, but yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Well, thank you guys, or you ladies, for coming on. This was really fun, and I'm excited because it's the first time I've seen photos of you, but like actually seen you, met you, talked to you. Lots of Southern twangs there.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you guys so much, and I'm excited to continue to watch Becky's business grow, and I know you guys are the backbone of it because it would not be possible without you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to join my Amazon community, you are welcome to join. I have the beginner FBA course, which is the course that Melissa mentioned. I also have the Bolo group. So if you're already selling and you want to join a group with Bolos, which is be on the lookout, or just join the group for the community and that sense of like connection and learning. It is an amazing place, and I know you'll enjoy it. So you can find all of that on my website, yoursellingguide.com. And if you would like to be a guest on this podcast, please reach out. You can reach me at podcast@yoursellingguide.com or click the link in the show notes to send me an email. Until next week, happy sourcing.